What's going on, everyone? It's Tyler Shelton. This is Coffee with a Bearded Reviewer. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have not done so, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. And if you like this video, please press that like button. And if there's other video games, movies, TV shows, whatever you want me to review, just leave it down in the comment section down below. And with that out of the way, let's get started with today's review for the video game Spider-Man Miles Morales. Miles Morales, it talks about more about him than it does than Peter, because Peter, on the other hand, he's like the Spider-Man that has been around for almost 10 years at this point. So he's already a seasoned Spider-Man. Like, he's been at it for a while, which I absolutely love. It really feels like he's kind of like, in the beginning, it almost feels like you're playing the role as kind of like a sidekick in Miles Morales. But as soon as Peter Parker is going like, I need to go on this vacation with MJ, so I need to be there as Peter Parker, not Spider-Man. Which I absolutely just love what they did, is that they just incorporated kind of like this world that they built just for Miles Morales, where Peter Parker is clearly out of the way. And now we get to like experience what it feels like to be a new Spider-Man, which in this case is Miles Morales. And it really feels like it's a video game by itself. I mean, you could definitely feel like that this is a continuation from the previous game, but it's just got like this beautiful flair to it that just feels very different compared to the first one, because not only that I could definitely tell that they actually went all out on this game, because they wanted to make sure that they can make this game feel something different compared to the 2018 Spider-Man game. To where like they wanted to make this game feel like it has its own identity with Miles Morales, which I think they did a really great job. So like you actually get to see this Spider-Man where he's doing like different flip, twist, twirls, and just kind of like a different combat system. It really feels like you're playing the role as a different Spider-Man. A Spider-Man who is probably a lot more agile, a lot more acrobatic. It feels like he's dance fighting, which I absolutely love. I mean, like, even not only that, the combat is fantastic, the music is fantastic. Like, you feel like you're in this world where you actually get to experience kind of like the Spider-Man flair that you get from the movies, where it's kind of like, oh, so epic. But then you kind of add a little bit of like this hip-hop sound to it, and it just makes it so refreshing. I really appreciate the storytelling that they did with this one. It's a very short story, but it feels like it's a very effective story that you can actually get behind everything that happens with each character, because you got the likes of Peter Parker. He has his own little story, but you're not going to see it, but you actually have phone calls with him, and he's just talking about the stuff that he's dealing with it on his vacation with MJ. And then you got this story about Miles Morales, that he's still learning how to use his powers. He's still kind of like seeing what works and what doesn't. And you're seeing him grow from being kind of like a sidekick character into a real Spider-Man by himself, which I think is absolutely fantastic. It feels like it's passing the torch to a younger generation. And not only that, like, just the graphics, especially when you've been through New York City, it is beautiful. It really feels like it's just an enhanced version of the 2018 New York that we already experienced. I mean, that game. It's only a couple years old, and it's still a very beautiful game. But this game, it just made it even more beautiful, especially just to feel that it's more Christmassy, and you actually see snow. You're seeing a lot nicer textures, and it just felt so crisp. Just so real, which is it just makes the web swinging even more exhilarating. And every time when I go to do a free fall, I can actually feel my gut tightening, because I can actually feel the vibrating on the controller, and it's just going kind of like, I don't want to hurt myself. Like, if you're able to make my gut like clench up like that, you did something right, because it made that aspect of like the web swinging feel so realistic. Because like, I always feel like that Miles Morales is just gonna but no, like, but that's the very thing that just makes that scene, well, not really a scene, but more just kind of like that moment when you do the free fall. You can really feel the gravity. You can feel the adrenaline, which I absolutely love. Genki, I thought he was a really great sub character. You don't really know that much about him, but he's just kind of like the equivalent to Harry Osborn's to Peter Parker. Like, this is that kind of best friend that Miles Morales has, and I think their friendship, it really shows just how much of a very strong connection that they have to each other as like the best friends. And then you just got the other characters such as like I always forget her name, but she's the main villain in the game. And this is your spoiler warning again, because it does say it in the title, spoiler warning. But she's actually the main villain in this game. Well, not really the main villain, but she's the main villain that you have to deal with for most of the game. That being said, you actually understand where she's coming from, and that's just the one thing about a lot of Spider-Man related stuff. That's where they really make the characters. Like, your hero is only as good as the villain, and I stand by that, and I think it's absolutely true. And they just did such a good job at just kind of like showing that there's a connection between Miles Morales' Spider-Man to this other villain, which is actually in this case is that it is kind of like a love interest between Miles and this other girl, because they've actually known each other for such a long time. They went to school together. They did a lot of stuff together, and so like you can really feel the history between these two. And the whole concept of this game is that you're actually trying to discover what happened to your mentor. You're trying to find out why your friend went from being like someone that you really cared for, and then all of a sudden now she's just like this eco-terrorist. That's pretty much what she is, like. But you can actually understand where she's coming from, because the real main villain is actually a very power-hungry corporation man that he's trying to put on like this good persona that he's like a good businessman. He's in it for the people, but deep down he's a bad man, and he needs to go down. And you can really see why she feels like that she needs to wipe out this company, because they're actually responsible for killing Miles Morales' mentor. They were responsible for a lot of things that happened. And so it comes down into like this climactic battle between you and her, but then it just kind of like unravels into like this brand new world that you get to see between Miles Morales and Peter Parker's eyes, that it feels like that they're going to be expanding this universe, which I think is just a nice addition to this franchise. And I can't wait. I just can't wait to play the next game, which I'm pretty sure is going to be on the PS5. It really feels like you are Spider-Man. It really feels like you are swinging through New York City. You can see some little Easter eggs, such as like Doctor Strange's home, like the Sanctum. You can actually see that place. You can also see the Avengers Tower. You can see the Wakanda Embassy. You can see other Easter eggs to like this expansive universe that I'm pretty sure they can, if they want to, that they could probably bring in some characters such as like Iron Man, Captain America, the Fantastic Four. Like, there's just so many options that they can go with. And I'm pretty sure with the next Spider-Man game that this might lean towards where you might meet some Avengers, Doctor Strange. We just don't know, but they're there for the studio to take whatever they want, because they already installed it into these games, and they have this opportunity to go much further into the mythos of this Marvel universe. I still feel like that Spider-Man 2018, it's a real treat. And I do feel like that this is another real treat. But like I said before, is that this is kind of like a smaller mainline game. So I'm pretty sure when the next one comes out that I would really love it if they actually do this, where they do kind of like the GTA 5 style, that you can actually choose to either be Peter Parker or you can be Miles Morales, and that would be just a nice touch. Like, you can play both characters. That would be so much fun. I really hope that they can do that in the next one, and I really hope that is the case, because to play the role as two different Spider-Mans, that would be insane. Like, something that the studios have never done before, and they have to do it. There's this big opening that they have this opportunity to do it. Please, Marvel Studios, please, Insomniac, please do it. It is going to be the most... It is going to feel so amazing that you can play two Spider-Mans in one game. It'll be so much fun. So that's my review for the game Spider-Man Miles Morales. And so, for this game, I gave it a rating of a 8.9. So thank you so much for watching this video. And I just want to say this again. Thank you so much for being very supportive on this channel. That please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out here. And if you liked the video, please press that like button. And if there's other video games, TV shows, movies that you want me to review, leave it down in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys next time.